Vagartha iva samprakto Vagartha pratipattaye Jagatah Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwara. Respected all my gurus, dear scholars, it's my proud privilege to inaugurate the international conference webinar on Ayurvedic Ethinomedical practices, the Ashtamgam Aranyakam by Ashtanga Ayurveda Chikisalaya and Vidyapitha Kerala. Next. In this conference, the main motto is to know in detail about the Ayurvedic ethnomedical practices throughout the world. The practice of ethnomedicine is the age-long indigenous observational and practical knowledge. This knowledge has been orally transmitted through generations and sustained as local health traditions, but all are based on Ayurvedic concepts. In Ayurveda, we have concluded that each and every substances, maybe the plant-based or animal-based or the minerals and metals, so every substances which are present, either living or non-living thing in the universe, has medicinal value. But it is the responsibility of we all to identify the medicinal value in it and process it properly and safely. We have to administer for the betterment of human beings, to manage the diseases and also to prevent the disorders. As it's well known that Ayurveda is not limited to India alone. Our acharyas, starting from Charaka, they says the whole universe is for us. They discussed Jagati eva manaushadam. Jagat means the whole universe. That's why we have to study the plants or medicinal value of each and everything from the whole universe. There is no end to the knowledge of Ayurveda. It's a constant research-based science. We may say it's oldest among old and advanced among advanced science. What we learned 30 years back is also same now. We teach to our students. What it is there in Charaka Samhita 3000 years back, and now also it is authentic. We cannot change a single sentence which was concluded by Acharya Charaka or Acharya Sushata, our Acharyas. What we need from the research or what we need by the medicines in the healthcare system is we should have quality based and a safety and efficacy in all our measures which are used in the prevention of health and management of cure. For this, Ayurveda has lot of informations. We have all basic informations to identify the dravya, drugs to identify a disease, to diagnose a disease, to manage the principles of managing the disease, and we have all the treatment modalities. But it's very difficult to list all the things of the universe. It's not possible to note down or write in a book which is there in this diversity in the world. That's why our Acharya says we have to collect the information from the experts, those who are in the forest, or those are cowards, shepherds. They have good observational knowledge of the nature. Those who are working in the forest dwellers. So all basic informations about the substances, maybe flora or fauna or the metals, minerals, has to be collected from these experts from the different areas throughout the world. Then we have to systematically document them. I'm feeling that the documentation part of this traditional knowledge, Ayurvedic knowledge, may be related to human beings or plant related knowledge or the animal health related problem or whatever it may be, is an emergency need, because many of the aged people are well aware of those traditional knowledge, but because of many problems, the youngsters around 40 or below 40 are unaware of this knowledge, and they are not at all interested in this time-tested knowledge of their ancestors. That's why it's the duty of everyone, especially the Ayurvedic scholars, to collect the locally available information in every corner of the world, document it in a systematic way so that we can do research whenever you want or whenever the government supports, and you can make it to the availability to the mainstream. So that's why it's my humble request that we have to work the ethno-medicinal collection and documentation in an emergency way. After documentation, our Acharya says we have to search the flora, fauna, metals and minerals in all the way. They says, Paschascha Shastreshu Vimrushya Buddhya Vikalpayet Dravya Rasaprabhavan Vipaka Viryani Tata Prayogat, starting from the botanical informations, pharmacognostical research, the pharmacokinetics and dynamics, and the clinical study. They says detailed evidence-based research work on all those informations collected from the traditional Ayurvedic practices is must and should. So that's the next step advised by our Acharyas for the benefit of humanity. You know, for this, the close observation of the nature, this type of ethnic research or ethno-medicinal research was not done in a lab or was not practiced in a big research laboratory or in an animal house. And that's their close observation on nature, on from simple creatures, from birds to bigger animals like elephant, even the cows, goats, and monkeys. Even the peacock. You know, there's a word called zoo pharmacognosy. So the development of our science starts from close observation in the nature. That's why Ayurvedic scholars or research scholars should work in the nature, not much in the research lab. So you can get maximum information in the nature by looking the varieties, the plants, their characters, the animals, their response to the different plants and minerals, metals. That's why it's again a humble request with all the scholars to go to the nature, to go to the forest, to go to the field and collect the information on the flora and fauna and minerals and metals. This was the plant I poured water during the inauguration. A traditionally useful, locally available plant, Leucas biflora, not mentioned in Ayurvedic textbook, but we did a enormous study, elaborate study of this plant. One of my friend, Dr. Ravi Rao Sorake, and my students also did research work on this, and they gave the name Grahani Lata because its action is on Grahani disease. A safest kitchen garden plant we use daily since many decades in the form of many dishes, chutney or tambali or many lehas or even kashayas in the management of not only the digestive disorders but also the gradrasi like Vata disease. Such type of folklore or ethno-medicinal should be studied and should be made into available to everyone. So really it's a endangered species. It looks like very rare species in our area, but nowadays it's available in every home, every house because of the work of some doctors, some the interested students, those who are selling or the giving samples, distributing the samplings of this plant. Such type of works has to be done by Ayurvedic scholars. In this way, what I feel in this 2-day seminar, no 3-day seminar, sorry, the conference, the students should have two types of, two ways to study the science. One is, it's a pure Ayurvedic school, say just 100 years back or 200 years back. No advanced modernized technologies are available for the study of drugs, study of diseases also. How they studied? Is their close observation on the drugs and patients. That's why what I feel is Ayurveda, Shuddha Ayurveda, pure Ayurveda should be taught in a group of school where the students should not be trained in any of the modern technologies. Why I'm telling this? Because many of my traditional doctors, folk doctors, they don't know about investigations. They don't know about the research lab. They don't know modern advanced technologies. But if I give a new drug to them, new plant to them, within a month, they will tell 1 page of information, starting from botanical information to the clinical level informations, its qualities, whether it is Ushna or Shita, whether it is Ruksha or Snigdha, whether it increases Vata or increases Kapha. Within a month, if I give time to them for 1 year, most probably they will give a volume of book or volumes of information to me. How they did or how they are doing this without any investigation tools. This has to be developed by one school. Then definitely no, Ayurveda will be improved, or Ayurveda can be seen by all the scholars. The second school is by using all advanced technologies. I'm not opposing to use all advanced technologies. With the thorough knowledge of Ayurveda and also with the thorough knowledge of advanced technologies, we can see Ayurveda with all the instruments. We can see Ayurveda with all thorough knowledge. With this two schools, if we do research work in the whole universe, definitely we can develop Ayurveda. And if you follow only the second school, looking Ayurveda only with modernized technology or instrumentation, somewhere we miss the Shuddha Ayurveda, basic Ayurveda. That's why with our close observations, with Parthivadi Dravya Pariksha, with the assessment of Panchamahabhuta quality of the Dravya, with the assessment of Desha, the Varna Bheda of the Dravya, etc. qualities we have to develop to assess a Dravya, to identify a Dravya, to assess the qualities of Dravya, and all about the plants and disease in the first school. So with this, I conclude my inaugural speech. The documentation of these ancestors' health tradition, local tradition, Ayurvedic health tradition throughout the world is very much essential. We should respect and prove everything around us as useful. We should not say this is not useful, this is of no use for us. No, everything in the universe is also useful. Take care of its sustainable utilization. Use the plant as whole. Again, I am reiterating, use the plant as whole. The extraction of phytoconstituents may not be beneficial for Ayurveda. To understand some of the principles of Ayurveda, it may be helpful, but for a Shuddha Ayurveda approach practitioner, the phytoconstituents, extraction and isolation of phytoconstituents is a harmful, may not be helpful for us to practice, to give safe efficacy in the practice. That's why it's my humble request, use the plant as whole, treat the human as whole. Then at the end, be vocal for local. Regional resources, use regional resources so that we can sustain the resources. Nowadays, many sources are becoming endangered. We are not able to get many of the important herbs in the common practice. That's because worldwide demand. If you study the flora or fauna of the different country, throughout the world, then definitely no, we can sustain the plants of India also. So that's why it's essential to study the regional resources and utilize them in that region only. That's the principle of Ayurveda. Yasya deshasya yo jantuhu tajjam tasya aushadam hitam uchito yasya yo deshaha tajjam tasya aushadam hitam. So with this, be vocal for local, use regional resources. This conference definitely helpful to do all these things. Wishing all participants to enrich knowledge by 27 young participants, young dynamic scientists, the presentations and interactions, apply Ayurvedic principle in every research and make this international conference a grand success. With this, I am thankful to the organizer, Department of Dravyaguna, Ashtamgam Ayurveda Chikisalaya and Hospital, and also Dr. P.R. Krishna Kumar, Center for Traditional Knowledge System. Especially, I am thankful to my two Shishyas, Dr. Narayan Nambi, Principal of the college, and also Dr. Ajayan S.,